Let me give you a brief introduction of myself. I am Dr. Mohammad Zamir, Principal, District Institute of Education and Training, Diet Rajendra Nagar, New Delhi. Viewers, जैसा कि हम जानते हैं कि जो स्कूल एस्टेब्लिश किया गया है वो सोसाइटी ने एस्टेब्लिश किया है और उसको एस्टेब्लिश करने का कोई पर्पस है। जब सोसाइटी में फैमिली ने महसूस किया कि हम जो बच्चों में डिजायर्ड चेंज चाहते हैं बिहेवियर में, वो फैमिली उस जिम्मेदारी को पूरा नहीं कर सकती या सक्षम नहीं है, तो और पर्टिकुलर स्किल हमें देने की जरूरत है, तो इस तरह से स्कूल का वजूद हुआ। तो स्कूल जो है वो आर एस्टेब्लिश्ड बाय द सोसाइटी। नाउ in school, who play the prominent role? It is the teacher who play the prominent role in school. In next slides नहीं आ रहा। So first of all, let us understand who is teacher. A person who teaches, especially in a school. Now the next question arises: why teacher teaches? Certainly for desired changes in student behavior through providing new knowledge and developing new understanding and competence or virtue. Virtue means behavior showing high moral standards. So that is why we are sending our children or kids to schools. So this is the purpose of sending the children to the schools. हम चाहते हैं कि हमारे बच्चों के अंदर बिहेवियर में तब्दीली आए, चेंज आए, कुछ वो स्किल्स एक्वायर करें, कुछ वो वैल्यूज इम्बाइब करें, उनके अंदर पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड डेवलप हो और उनको नई नॉलेज मिले, जिसकी वजह से वो एक यूजफुल सिटीजन बन सके। Now, how teachers should teach? Here are the functions that teachers are expected to perform. The first function is they have to plan and prepare and deliver lessons as per the syllabus and curriculum guidelines. This is the first thing that they need to do. The second thing is encouraging student participation in lessons and in other school-related activities. So there are so many activities in schools which are conducted: cultural activities, co-curricular activities, tour, excursions, visits of museums, parks, and so many other activities you are aware of. Then supporting the implementation of school's development plan. So there is a school development plan, then each teacher is supposed to contribute as per the given role in that particular school development plan, and assessing and reporting on behaviors of the students. So this is also the responsibility and function of a teacher to assess the behavior of students, whether desired changes are being observed or reported by the students or not, whether students are learning which they are supposed to learn in different subjects, whether their emotional, social, intellectual, academic, spiritual development is taking place as has been designed to achieve. Then next is providing educational and social guidance to the students. Sometimes students need guidance because there are individual differences and students have their own pace of learning several things. One thing they can learn easily with spending no time, and sometimes they may take time to learn a particular skill or acquiring a particular understanding and knowledge. So here there is a need. There might be some social issues with the students. So here it is the responsibility of the teacher to deal with these social issues and provide the appropriate guidance. Then ensuring the highest standards of quality and applying the most up-to-date teaching methods. So since long we have seen so many development has taken place in the field of psychology and sociology. New theories has emerged, which explains how students learn and what methods are more appropriate as compared to the previous methods. So a good teacher always hunger to learn new methods and techniques which are more appropriate, which can bring efficiency and effectiveness into their teaching learning process and in order to achieve desired learning outcome. Then the next part, then the next point is taking part in opportunities to boost your own learning and continuous professional development. So teacher should not leave any opportunity unturned where he get the opportunity to boost his or her own learning and continuous professional development. Like SCRT diets are established for the professional development of teacher through providing different kind of workshop, conducting training programs. So self-learning is also important at the same time when you get the opportunity to attend or participate in such programs, then teachers should attend these programs. Attending and taking active part in staff meeting to support the smooth running and administration of the school. So teachers' tasks are not only associated with what he or she is doing in the classroom, but out of the classroom, he has several roles. He has to attend meeting, he has to take active participation in those meetings, and he has to provide all kinds of support in order to run the school and classes and all the activities smooth and provide support to the administration for achieving desired result. Collaborating with parents, guardians, support workers, and other professionals to safeguard and ensure the educational welfare of those students who may have special educational needs. So here again, if a teacher feel that his responsibility is only confined to the classroom and to the teaching to his or his students, his or her students, so it is a myth. Teacher has to work beyond the boundary of these schools also. He or she has to contact with the parents, to different organization, different stakeholders, because every stakeholder has to play a role in the learning outcome of students. So how can we take cooperation from different stakeholders, especially from parents, and through active participation of parents? It is also important. For that, he has to collaborate with all these stakeholders. So these are the primary roles and functions of a teacher to acquire better results. Now, in order to perform these roles, in order to perform these tasks, what are the different roles a teacher is expected to perform? So these are the 5 major role he has to play. He has to act as a leader to inspire and motivate. Now, to whom he has to inspire and motivate? Not only students, but to his or her colleagues, fellow colleagues, other teachers, even principal, even education officers, and other stakeholders by uh, setting the examples of doing things in a better way, different way. So this is the most important role that a teacher play as a leader. The teacher as a manager of instruction and classroom management. So he has to play as a manager also, a role as a manager also. He is not a leader, he is also a manager. The teacher as a caring person, he has to care of everything, particularly his or her students. He has to take care of everything belonging to his or her students. His emotional well-being, his social well-being, his academic well-being, his intellectual well-being. So he has to take care into consideration everything, not only academic, because social or emotional well-being also affect the academic well-being or academic development of a student. If he is emotionally disturbed, then we can't expect him to concentrate on academic uh, uh, programs. The teacher as expert learner, if he is not a learner, he cannot promote learning. So he must be a good learner. The teacher as cultural and civic person, as a role model, he has to represent as an ideal person of a society so that a student can acquire that kind of behavior, that kind of attitude, that kind of belief system from his or her teacher. In this way also, he acts as a leader. So out of these 4 points, you can see that all the points belonging to the leadership role of a teacher. Now, in order to understand uh, teacher leadership, let us focus on our understanding what is leadership. So, leadership, as defined by North House, is a process whereby an individual influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal. I repeat, leadership as defined by North House is a process whereby an individual influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal. Now, second definition, Gary Yakul have defined leadership as a process of influencing others to understand and agree about what needs to be done and how to do it, and facilitating individual and collective efforts to accomplish shared objective. Third definition, very simple. According to John P. Cotter, leadership is most fundamentally about change. Now, this word is very important, about change. So, what is the role of a teacher? The role of a teacher is to bring learning among the students. What is learning? Learning is a relatively permanent change in behavior, which is a result of experience. Who will provide experience? Experience will be provided by the teacher. So, relatively permanent change in behavior. The role of a leader is also a change, and the role of teacher is also the change in behavior of the students, which society expect from a teacher. So, in this way, the role of a teacher is a role of a leader. Now, on the basis of these three definitions, we can find out 6 important things. Number one, leadership is a process in the same way as teaching is a process. Now, the second important word is influence. A teacher is also exercise influence over his or her students. Why he want to influence? In order to bring about certain desired change in his behavior in terms of new knowledge, understanding, new belief, attitude, and values. So leader's role is also to influence. The third thing is leadership belongs to the group. Leadership is not in isolation. Leadership also associated with the group of people, and they may be considered as followers. In case of teachers, there are a group of students. In the same way, for a leader, there is a group of persons who might be working in a factory, who might be working in a service sector, and in school, teacher and principals are also in a position of a leadership. So they deals with the group. They lead to the group. This is the third important point which belongs to leadership in the same way as belongs to the teacher. Next point is goals. Under leadership, there are certain goals which a leader wishes to achieve. In the same way, a teacher also a leader. He or she want to achieve certain goals, learning objectives. For that, he provides certain experiences or he creates certain condition in order to achieve that desired goals and objectives. The next point is the shared objectives. Now, shared objectives, certainly when there is a leader and there are followers, so there is an agreement between leader and followers that these are the objectives we are agreed upon. And both leader and the groups want to achieve those goals, and they are shared in the sense that they are agreed on these objectives. In the same way, in a school, a teacher, a principal, group of students of a particular class, curriculum planner, national curriculum, state curriculum, textbook, all are agreed, even the parents are agreed that this is the curriculum, this is the syllabus, these are the objectives. So in this way, these objectives of learning are also shared objectives because all are agreed. That is why parents have sent their children to the school with the understanding that whatever is the curriculum, we agreed upon that. Teacher is teaching or transacting the curriculum because he or she agreed upon it. Principal is providing guidance and facilitating the transaction of that curriculum because he agreed upon it. And nation agreed upon it. In this way, the objectives are shared. The next point is authority and responsibility. So teacher is authorized like a leader. Teacher is also authorized to take charge of the learning of the students. And they have given autonomy to take necessary actions in order to ensure that the desired learning take place and every student learn what he's supposed to learn. But at the same time, with this authority, as in the case of leadership, teacher is also a leader because he also is given responsibility with authority that you have to achieve these objectives of learning in your particular class, in your particular subject. So in this way, again, it is established that the teacher is a leader. The next point is unequal distribution of power. Viewers, as you are aware that in schools, there is a not equal distribution of power, or in an education system, education officers has certain powers, principal has certain powers, which education officers don't have. In the same way, the power a principal has, teacher does not have. Teachers की power अलग है, principals की power अलग है. So there are not equal distribution of power. So this is the 7th point. So these are the features of leadership, and the same features belongs to a teacher. That is why it is said that if a teacher wishes to perform his or her role efficiently and effectively, if he wishes to become a great teacher, he must have a deep understanding of leadership, and he must accept that he is not only a transactor of curriculum, but he has to take a leadership role as a teacher. Now, in order to have some more understanding about leadership, let us have a brief view of certain theories which might be helpful for a teacher in their respective classroom. The first theory which was given, the first theory belongs to trait theory of leadership. According to this theory, leaders are born. Now, some of you may agree that yes, leaders are born, they are charismatic, but it is established by the research that leaders may be created through providing training on leadership. That is why nowadays the focus is on leadership, and it is one of the 5 21st century skills, that this leadership skill should be acquired by everyone before passing class 12. So this theory, according to this theory, you have certain inborn traits. You are born as a leader, so you are a leader. I am not born as a leader, I am not a leader. So we are thinking about teacher as a leader. It means that if you are not born as a leader, you can't be a leader if you are a teacher. So in this way, so many researchers have conducted, and it is established that leadership skills may be developed, and everyone can be a leader. Now, after that, after certain criticism about this theory, the focus was not on trait, as in the case of trait theory. The focus was on how the leaders behave. So, three leadership styles emerged: autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. Autocratic leadership style, where if a teacher is an autocratic leader, he will take all the decision himself or herself. He will not discuss and share anything with the principals or his or her students. He will take all the decisions himself or herself. These leaders are called autocratic. So nobody has power to give any suggestions. There is no scope of giving advice to the teacher from the students or anybody. Whatever action will be taken, it will be taken by the teacher as an autocratic leader. He will take decision, all the decision. Now, second thing is democratic leadership style. Here, uh, teacher, if he is a democratic leader, he will invite suggestions. He will take suggestions from others before doing or taking new initiatives. He will take opinions, suggestions from students, from his or her colleagues, fellow teachers, principals. Even he can go outside. He can take suggestions from experts. Then he will decide uh, uh, whether he should take new initiatives in the classroom or not. So this is called participative kind of leadership. It's fair, where teacher give all the powers to the followers, and he is passive in his approach. So decision making power is given to the followers. Now, after these three leadership style, those who develop new theories, criticizing earlier two theories, trait theories of leadership and behavioral theories of leadership, a new theory emerged that is called situational theories of leadership. This theory emphasized that leadership depends on the situation. What kind of situation we are having in a particular school. And situation will decide what kind of leadership style I must have as a teacher. So one thing is situation. Number two, what are the needs of the subordinates or your students? The two factor will work. What are the situations and what kind of students you are having in your class, or what kind of teachers are there, or what kind of situations are prevailing. For example, a teacher may be working in a school which has 100% result, excellent in everything, and a school where there is a very poor result, no co-curricular activities, no cultural activities, demoralized teachers. So situations are different. Here, the teacher will decide on the basis of the situations and the needs of his fellow teachers and students. So now situation will decide. Next theory is transformational leadership. This theory talk about idealized and charismatic influence. Here, leader is seen as a role model. What leader wish his or her students to behave in a certain way, he must be a role model. He cannot tell students that he should behave like this, and there is no need for me to behave like this. So यहाँ लीडर जिस तरह से स्टूडेंट्स को चाहता है कि उसकी वैल्यूज हो, जिस तरह से वो बिहेव करे, जिस तरह का उसका एटीट्यूड हो, जिस तरह का उसका बिलीफ सिस्टम हो, उसको उस टीचर को वहां डिमोन्स्ट्रेट करने की जरूरत है. Not for a student, but this kind of behavior should be the integral part of his personality. So this is called charismatic influence or idealized influence. और इस तरह के बिहेवियर से स्टूडेंट जल्दी इन्फ्लुएंस हो जाते हैं. हम बहुत सारी बातें दीवारों पर लिखी हुई देखते हैं स्कूलों में, क्लासरूम में, बहुत सारी टीचर्स मॉर्निंग असेंबली में भी बातें बताते हैं, लेकिन अगर वो चीजें स्टूडेंट्स प्रैक्टिस होती भी नहीं देखते हैं तो स्टूडेंट्स उसको इम्बाइब नहीं करता है. वो चीजें इम्बाइब करता है जो वो अपने इर्द गिर्द लोगों को करते हुए देखता है. तो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल लीडर की कहनी और करनी में फर्क नहीं होता. वो जो स्टूडेंट से एक्सपेक्ट करता है वो उसको डिमोन्स्ट्रेट करता है. सेकंड इज इंस्पिरेशनल मोटिवेशन. ये जो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल लीडर होता है ये इंस्पायर करता है. इस वक्त हमारे यहाँ इस तरह के लीडर्स की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत है कि वो स्टूडेंट को इंस्पायर करे, मोटिवेट करे, not to learn certain things, but to inspire, but to develop hunger for learning, but develop hunger for thinking, develop hunger for to innovate. This kind of leadership is called transformational leadership. The third thing is intellectual stimulation. Certainly, students are in schools for their intellectual development primarily. So, whether a leader is able to create intellectual stimulation among his or her students and fellow teachers or not, this is very important. A transformation leader provide conditions and provide experiences which boost up intellectual stimulation. And these kind of stimulation are only possible when a transformational leader provide intellectual challenges in the class, when he uh, provide condition to think and rethink and question our own beliefs and practices which we are following. Even these practices may be well established. Even then, practicing our own own practices, challenging our own behavior, these kind of situations is created by a transformational leader. If a teacher is a transformational leader, he always encourages students to question their behavior, to question their practices. This is the most important dimensions of transformational leadership. The next is the individual consideration. You know, there are individual differences among students. They have their own pace of learning. They have their own interest. They have their own abilities. They have their own past and previous experiences. So, this teacher who is a transformational leader, he will never, never exclude any individual from the whole teaching learning process, and every individual will be equally important for him or her. This is very important. Sometime in classroom, a teacher may be a very good communicator. He must have a very good command over his subject, but he might fail in order to consider individual needs, or he cannot, his pace of teaching may not match with several individual students in the class. So every individual is important for the transformational leader. If a teacher is transformational, no student will be neglected. All the needs of the all the individuals will be taken care of in the classroom. And individual consideration, the teacher will take into consideration their welfare first, and he will keep himself behind. So this is very important. The next is a distributed leadership. Here power and function of leaders are shared. Under distributed leader, if a teacher is a distributed leader, then he will try to distribute his power while conducting several activities in the schools or in classroom also. When he will provide the instructions, he will provide experience to the students by forming different groups and giving them responsibility and sharing the responsibility with them, or several kind of responsibilities to individual students. Through this process, he also developed leadership qualities among students by keeping them in leadership role. तो जब वो डिफरेंट स्टूडेंट्स को और डिफरेंट ग्रुप ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स को जिम्मेदारी देते हैं किसी काम को करने की, उसके जरिए उनके अंदर लीडरशिप क्वालिटी डेवलप होती है. अब स्कूल के अंदर स्टूडेंट्स को लीडरशिप क्वालिटीज डेवलप करनी है, तो उसके लिए लीडरशिप का कोर्स अलग से नहीं होगा, बल्कि हमें ऐसे एक्सपीरियंसेस बच्चों को देने होंगे जिनके द्वारा उनके अंदर लीडरशिप डेवलपमेंट हो सके. तो वो पावर उन स्टूडेंट्स को देना, और उनको जब हम उस पोजीशन में रखते हैं लीडरशिप के, तो उनको ये भी समझ में आता है कि हमारे टीचर जब लीडरशिप के रोल में होते हैं तो वो उस रोल को एम्पैथाइज कर पाते हैं. That is why nowadays distributed leadership is also famous among schools, and you are aware that principals having 4 or 5,000 students in a school, and he has to play several roles in the school. So principals also try to share his leadership functions with the teachers in the schools. So this is also important. Leadership must be shared. Next is the assigned versus emergent leadership. So assigned leadership is associated with the position. For example, principal is a leader, but this leadership is assigned to him or her in the school by the authority. So this is the assigned role. Emergent leadership in a school, there is a principal, he has an assigned role of leadership, but in that school, a teacher may be a leader. जबकि उसको प्रिंसिपलशिप उसके पास नहीं है, उसको एज ए प्रिंसिपल लीडरशिप का रोल नहीं निभाना, इवन देन ही कैन बी अ लीडर एंड ही कैन बी अ मोर इफेक्टिव लीडर एज कंपेयर टू अ प्रिंसिपल if he has certain skills. And it is found in several schools that a teacher is more influential than a principal in a school. It is found in several schools. And leadership is also dynamic. One principal may be a good leader with respect to sports. One principal may be a good leader with respect to creating discipline. One principal may be a good leader or effective leader with respect to creating conducive condition for better learning outcome. So this is a dynamic concept. So leadership is very important. Why teacher leadership is so important? Let us discuss that aspect also. Before discussing that leadership, let us now come to then on the basis of these theories, now you will be able to understand what is teacher leadership. So teacher leadership is the process by which teachers individually or collectively influence their colleagues, principals, and other members. Now, first thing, teacher leadership is a process by which teachers individually or collectively, मैं एक इंडिविजुअल टीचर की हैसियत से भी और सारे टीचर मिलके कलेक्टिवली भी इन्फ्लुएंस कर रहे हैं किसको, अपने साथियों को, प्रिंसिपल्स को और अदर मेंबर्स ऑफ द स्कूल कम्युनिटी, किस लिए, टू इंप्रूव टीचिंग लर्निंग प्रैक्टिसेस with the aim of increasing student learning and achievement. So this is the goal, that students are there in the school to learn certain things. So we have to increase their learning and achievement. In order to achieve that role, we have to improve upon our teaching learning practices. जब टीचर, इंडिविजुअल टीचर या सारे टीचर मिलके स्कूल के अंदर अपने साथियों को, प्रिंसिपल्स को और कम्युनिटी के दूसरे मेंबर्स को प्रभावित करते हैं ताकि उनकी टीचिंग लर्निंग प्रक्रिया पहले से बेहतर हो जाए, जिसके द्वारा हम स्टूडेंट्स के बेहतर स्टूडेंट लर्निंग और बेहतर अचीवमेंट को हासिल कर सकें, इसको हम टीचर लीडरशिप कहते हैं. तो ये प्रक्रिया है सर्टेन गोल को अचीव करने के लिए और अपनी प्रैक्टिसेस को प्रभावित करने के द्वारा. Second thing, teacher leadership operates within and beyond classroom. It is also important to note that teacher leadership is not confined to classroom only. It is beyond classroom. It is beyond school. It operates beyond school because there are several stakeholders which are not working in schools. So we are also influenced by them and we also influence to them. Makes contribution by way of positively influencing the educational practices of fellow teachers and schools. Again, we have to remember that teacher leadership is not confined to improving the classroom practices of that individual teacher. Teacher leadership is the leadership which also influence other teachers for bringing improvement into their classroom practices, teaching learning processes. The third thing, teacher leadership may operates by assigning a formal position to a teacher. teacher leadership may operate by assigning a formal position to a teacher as well as informally realizing or even not realizing that someone is engaged in leadership role. Sometimes in many schools, sometimes there may be a academic leader of teaching of mathematics who will guide the all the teachers of mathematics in particular school or in particular district, and he has given that position. He has been assigned that position that you have to work, you have to lead the team of mathematics teacher for improving their teaching learning process. But informally, it is also possible that a teacher is influencing without assigning a particular formal role to a particular teacher with respect to particular subject. He or she might influence the practices of other teachers. Teachers are observing, even he is not conscious that he is influencing other teachers. In many schools, there are so many teachers, they influence others. They are not holding any position of a leader in a particular area, but they are influencing others by way of their practices, by way of their behavior, by way of their innovative practices in their respective classrooms. The teacher leadership is a process of building trust, nurturing cooperation and collaboration, and sharing expertise among different stakeholders for the good of student learning and schools. So this is also important. I cannot influence others unless there is a trust between me and other teachers, between me and school principal, between me and other stakeholders. So teacher leader is always try to build trust. Without trust, we cannot influence others. If there is a mistrust, nobody is going to follow us. So this is the basic element of leadership, that leader is able to build trust, nurturing cooperation and collaboration, and sharing expertise among different stakeholders for the good of student learning and school. This is also a very important point. We should not forget about this point. Now, teacher leadership then is centrally and exclusively concerned with the idea that all organizational members, like in school, teachers, schools had to develop certain basic skills and basic knowledge to the students. Now, schools are expected to play a more broader role, and they are expected to develop better belief system, positive attitude, acquire new skills which are changing from time to time. And because of this reason, teacher leadership has become important, and there are certain reasons why we are talking nowadays about teacher leadership. Not all students are acquiring required knowledge, skills, and attitudes which are essential to succeed in the competitive world. Throughout the world, globally, it is observed and perceived, and an understanding developed, that not all students are acquiring required knowledge, skills, and attitude which are essential to succeed in the competitive world. This is the reason that teacher need to take the position of a leader in a school, in the classroom. The second important thing which is associated, which has brought the concept of teacher leadership forefront, is the unsatisfactory outcome of the worldwide intervention designed and implemented for school improvement and school reform. So our system is centralized. So many things are done globally, so many things are done nationally, so many things are done at state level, and decisions were taken at the state level. national level, and globally. But we could not find the result. We could not found the result, desired result out of these interventions. So here raise the questions why we are not able to achieve what we desired in terms of the learning outcome of students. So this unsatisfactory outcome worldwide has become the reason and focus increase on teacher leadership. Third is teacher attrition worldwide. It is also observed that nobody want to become teacher, and teacher are also leaving the profession and joining other professions. So this is also the reason that people attracted toward the concept of teacher leadership. The fourth point is issue of diverse student population, which has made teaching a challenging profession. Certainly, we have diverse population. Psychologically, there are individual differences among the students, and we have diverse students. There are first generation learner in the classroom. There are second generation learner. There are the third generation learner. So there are students in the classroom have different socioeconomic status. So it is found that because of this reason, a challenge is being faced. So under these circumstances, there is a need to develop teacher as a leader, and teacher must take the leadership position in order to resolve this issue. And no state or national or international intervention will provide desired result unless and until teacher take the position of a leader. Next, meeting expectations of a school in the context of reducing role of other concerned government department and dwindling public resources. I repeat, meeting expectation of a school in the context of reducing role of other concerned government department and dwindling public resources. There are two issues. Public resources are being spent on education, and the issue of resources. And second is the diminishing role of other stakeholders in the schools. That is why we are talking about the role of a teacher as a leader. And next is demand for accountability. It means that if we have not developed teachers as a leader, they will not be able to perform their duty as they are supposed to do, and they will not create results and achievement in terms of student learning as desired by the society. So the demand for accountability also exists. So many resources, financial, physical resources are engaged uh, with the teachers, and teachers are supposed to deliver results. So in order to deliver the desired result, there is a need to develop teacher as a leader. So these are the 5, 6 reasons uh, which compelled the educationist to develop teacher as a leader. And teacher is not only the role of the teacher is not the transmission of knowledge to the students, and it is not the role of the students to store that knowledge. Knowledge is everywhere. He can get knowledge from everywhere, but it is the role of the teacher to develop the thinking mind, to create condition for the student to think, to challenge their thinking, and to challenge the social and emotional issues dealing with him or her. Now, there are certain things which are associated with the role of a teacher as a leader. Now, these are the model standards which can be described. First is fostering a collaborative culture to support educator development and student learning. If a person is a teacher leader, then he must be able to foster collaborative culture to support educator development and student learning. The second important thing is accessing and using research to improve practice and student learning. If a teacher is a leader, he will always keep in touch with what is happening in the field of teaching and learning. What are the latest development? What researchers are saying? And how can I improve my own practices, and how can I improve the student learning on the basis of the research finding which has recently conducted. So he or she must be well acquainted, and he must be updated with the latest researches and the findings of these researches. The third important point is the promotion of professional learning for continuous improvement. So teacher must always be hunger for his or her professional learning and continuous improvement through other means. The fourth is facilitating improvement in instruction and student learning. He must bring improvement, he must facilitate others, fellow teachers, to improve their teaching learning process, to improve the learning student learning outcome. Then promoting the use of assessment and data for school and district improvement. The teacher should not conduct only formative assessment, summative assessment, but he should continuously assess students' learning outcome with respect to several dimensions: emotional, social, academic, intellectual, spiritual, using different appropriate tools. And he or she must use this data for improving the teaching learning process of his her class in order to improve the learning outcome of his or her students. It should not be a one time activity. Assessment should not be a one time activity, and it should be used for further improvement to assess. Even teacher through this data can is assess his or her performance, and he can or she can improve or find out the flaws in his teaching practices and can improve upon. Next is improving outreach and collaboration with families and community. Teacher as a leader must acquire skills to outreach and collaborate with family and community. It is found that where there is a collaboration of teachers and schools with the family and the community, and if they are working together, the results are better than those schools where this kind of collaboration does not exist. So, in this way, teacher as leader must influence the community members, parents, and other stakeholders. The next point is advocating for student learning and profession. He has to advocate for student learning and the teaching profession. This is the seventh point. Now, we can conclude the whole lecture in few lines. An effective teacher essentially plays the role as a leader by influencing the acts of others in schools and classroom. I repeat again, an effectively teacher, I'm not talking about a teacher, I'm talking about an effective teacher. An effective teacher essentially plays the role as leader by influencing the acts of others in school and classroom for the common goal of student learning. The school are established for the common goal of student learning. If a teacher plays the role as leader by influencing the act of others in school and classroom for the common goal of student learning, he is a teacher leader. It is called teacher leadership. Teacher can do so by assuming a wide range of roles. Teacher can serve as a leader by assuming the role of resource provider. So many resources are needed in order to make our teaching learning process effective, engaging. Instructional specialist, curriculum specialist, classroom supporter, learning facilitator, mentor, school leader. He is not a leader of his or her classroom only. Teacher can become a school leader with respect to effective teaching. Data coach, catalyst. Now he might play all the roles as a leader, or he might play a particular role as a leader. He may be only an instructional specialist. He might play the role as a leader for classroom, to support classroom, to provide resources. He may play either all the roles, or he may play one of the role as a leader for change and learner. By doing so, teacher leader positively impacts teacher collaboration, instructional practice, teacher autonomy, and school culture and climate, which is essential for achieving the desired student learning and success. So, in this way, we can conclude that teacher, by virtue of being a teacher, is a leader. Teacher, by virtue of being a teacher, is a leader. Thank you so much, viewers, to engage with me. In the end, I also thank to SCRT for inviting me to deliver a talk on teacher leadership. Thank you so much, viewers.